very fast.
Yes. I've always wanted to create my own sound because I have this sound in my head, and every time I go to a producer, what I have is not what they are interpreting. So it became some sort of a problem for me. I remember when I was, I think about 7, 8 there about, I would gather plates and pans and empty containers.
Anything that makes
yes,
that can make noise.
Yes, then I will take sticks and playing drum. You'll be surprised that I was responsible then for training about 80% of the dancers in Kaduna State. Yes, I was that good.
Talent.
Yes, that's when I monetized it. Some people will cook food and bring that they want to do album
with a plate of food,
and I will collect. What is the thing that I love doing the most, that even without money I will still do it?
Yeah.
And I saw that it is music, being a producer, being a record producer. You see, when you create value for yourself, people of value will tilt towards you.
Definitely.
If you client now, because I've developed a strong fan base and people like my sound, wherever I now go to, they follow me. I can create a sound with just a sound from this bottle, and with this I can create kick, I can create snare, I can create a drum line, I can create pad, I can create keyboard, I can create whatever it is I want to create just from a signed sound. In short, I was poisoned.
Wow.
Yes, that was the period of serious shaking in my life. From that 2014 to I battled my life 2 consecutive years in the hospital. At this point now, I collect 1.5 for a single song, and I'm in Kaduna now, and I'm still collecting that kind of money for a job.
Moneytical Podcast, we know they joke. If you want to learn, they make it take your notes. Crypto, forex, hustle, we coach. Stack that bread, get your money pro.
Hello guys, you're welcome to another episode on the Moneytical School of Money podcast. My name is Obi Crypto, and as usual today in the studio I have somebody very, very important, and the topic we'll be discussing today is surviving in the entertainment industry in northern Nigeria. And with me right here in the studio, I have somebody very important, somebody you're going to like. Is somebody who have tried the music industry, music production industry, right, as a producer himself, and right now is into something else. Is into the ministry, into gospel, right, more or less like a clergyman. And we want to talk about that today. Most importantly, this notion that entertainment do not work in northern Nigeria. We want to see how we can trash that issue, and most importantly, we'll be asking him if there is money in the entertainment industry, specifically the music production sector. So guys, I welcome our guest in the studio, Apostle Jesse Obiechina.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you. Good
how has it been? It's been a while. Time we saw you.
It's been a while. I think the last time we saw was 2 years. 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's quite a long time.
A year plus. When you were putting this beautiful place, together. So we've had a long run. It's good to see you.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, I have a set of questions here to ask you,
Please.
But as we go, we'll continue to rapport together.
Yes, that's right.
When I first knew you, you were into music production.
Yes.
The reason why we're discussing this topic today on the Moneytical School of Money podcast is because we want people to learn how to make money. Depending on whatever industry you feel like you want to go into, whatever career you feel like you want to choose. What we do on the podcast here is to tell you the monetary side of whatever hustle that you want to indulge yourself in, right? I know you as a music producer, but first of all, let's start from the very beginning.
Yes.
What sparked your passion to go into music production in the very beginning?
I was born into the family of clergies. My dad, a minister of the gospel. My mom, same thing. And growing up, my dad sang a lot. He's someone that he sings, and his music are follow come. He gets inspired by God. The way the sounds come is not something that he sits and writes or anything. It was just so watching my dad while growing, and the whole ministry, background. I found myself, tilting towards that direction, singing. I remember when I was, I think about 7, 8 there about, I would gather plates and pans and empty containers.
Anything that makes
yes,
that can make noise.
Yes, then I would take sticks and playing drums, making sense. Why some of my junior ones will be singing, and so I could even speaking about it now. I'm remembering the experience. It was quite an experience, and I remember a certain time my dad came back with a keyboard, and he said it was his spiritual son that gave it to him.
Wow.
So he brought the keyboard, and he just kept the keyboard. Now in church then, this was in the early like 2001, like early 2000s thereabout. The church then all we just cared about was you just clap your hand and everything will be fine, beat local drum and sing the way you can sing, but he brought that keyboard and I didn't have any tutor, anyone to teach me, so I just started playing
just like
that. I started playing whatever makes sense, whatever did not make sense, and with time it started making sense. We didn't have access to internet then, so there was no way we'll say we want to watch tutorials, and we didn't have YouTube. Then we didn't know anything about YouTube.
YouTube started around 2005, 2006.
Exactly. So this is talking way back before that. We didn't have YouTube or anything to say, okay, we can look and learn from. The music school then, you could count them. You could count them. They are like maybe less than 5 or 3 thereabout, and then you pay, even if it's like 5,000 naira. That was a lot of money then to pay to learn all these things. So I took it upon myself. I was just, as the case may be, that was how I found myself playing the keyboard. So apparently no one taught me how to play the keyboard. No one taught me how to play drums. This is professionally, I might add. No one taught me. I just learned how to do it by trial, error, the help of the Holy Ghost, and so on. So it created a proper background for me to become. I loved music. An opportunity presented itself. I was born into the family of music. My dad brought a keyboard, and then I found myself in it. I remember 2000 and is it 7, 6, 8 thereabout? There was a studio. Then I started rapping and singing. I was being invited to different churches. Shows then churches, because I was a gospel minister, gospel rap artist. Still am, by the way. What happened was I went to a studio. I remember I was still in secondary school then. I had, is it 2,000 naira? So I went to a studio to record. And the producer then was creating what I did not know. I did not like what he was creating. So what I did was I went and I stood behind him. And I was watching how he was doing it. He opened a software. I was just watching how he was doing what he was doing. And I was taking mental picture and notes of it. Until one day I was opportune to be in a studio, and the producer that was there was going for service. He was going for service, and then they were looking for a producer. I now told the owner of the studio, I'm a producer.
Just like that. Just from what you learn with your eyes.
Just like that. I told him I'm a producer. He said, we brought you here. You are just rapping, and this guy that's going for services was one being the one making your beats. How will you say you are a producer? I said I'm a producer. He said, okay. He gave me the key and said, let him try and see. Let him see what I can. That was the first time I sat on the producer seat. The first time I opened the software and I started creating sound. Now, mind you, I've watched this. I've been where they were creating and getting all these things done. And I'm a very sharp and smart person. I've always wanted to...
Someone who learned very fast.
Yes. I've always wanted to create my own sound because I have this sound in my head. And every time I go to a producer, what I have is not what they are interpreting. So it became some sort of a problem for me. So I needed this thing, not because I want to feed off it, but because I want to bring out what is in my head, my creativity. So that is what tilted me towards the production aspect. From the background to the learning of instruments by myself, to this first studio I went to that things didn't go the way, I don't know what that guy was really doing, you know, down to when I joined the group. It was called Youth in Progress then, YIP. And then I was dancing and I joined the rap department, and they were bringing soundtracks that was making sense, you know, then for us to record. You know, my late friend then, Steve, was the one creating the sound. He was he was a genius, basically. So we'll go to his place, he will create sound, then we'll go to a studio that's called Fresh Art Studios in High Coast then. You know, and that was in the Fresh Art Studio that this producer now had to go serve. Then me now told the owner of the studio that I can create sound. I've not created sound before, mind you, ever. So I sat and I started creating sound. I remember he ran out from his room, because you know this kind raining wayo, he just give you key and say, let's see what you will do. So he left. I remember him running out from his house. He was like, are you the one doing this? I say, I told you I can produce, I'm the one doing this. He was surprised and shocked. That was how I began to work. Now, because I had passion for this thing, people now started coming. When they hear my sound, it's different. I wasn't competing with the people in Kaduna State, the sound in Kaduna State. I was competing with the people in Lagos.
Yeah.
So when I hear the Nyanya sounds, then the Wizkid sounds, then when it came out new, I will come to the studio and I will create something similar to it. And they will hear it and I'll just add my little twist on it. But they'll say, this is the kind of sound that Wizkid and the rest. And, you know, so that thing now created traffic towards the studio, towards me. People now wanted to work with me. I started collecting like 2,000, 1,000.
Money started coming.
Yes, 5,000. Some people who cook food.
That was when you monetized talent.
Yes, that was when I monetized it. Some people who cook food and bring that they want to do album
with a plate of food.
And I will collect. I basically started sleeping in the studio that time. All I could think of was sound. How to make my sound to stand out in this a whole of Kaduna State. And it was indeed working. I was answering X-ray then, you know, and everybody was like, X-ray. You don't hear X-ray, but you don't hear X-ray beat, X-ray sound. Oh, so people started coming. That even when that producer came back after service, there was no space for him anymore. They now had to divide the time into two. And because I have more clients and more people navigating towards my direction, I was awarded more time than him. Yes, this caused serious rift that I don't have time to go into.
We're not going into that today. You've said a lot about your growth into music, your passion, and your desire. Because when you started, it wasn't all about the monetization for you.
No, it wasn't about money.
You just wanted to show the world that you have something in you.
Yes, indeed.
Right? That you could do something.
Yeah.
And that was the zeal. But most importantly, you were focused on it.
Highly.
Even though you didn't have the kind of means that people have today. Why? Yes. Because people can go online, get online digital courses to learn music production.
Yes.
Some can watch it for free on YouTube, how to produce music. Some can watch it on TikTok.
Yes.
So many video platforms online where people can. These opportunities wasn't there when we were grown up during our time. Otherwise, we would have been the best of generation when it comes in terms of creativity and all of that, right? Now, that takes me to the next question, which is something that is very, very, very synonymous with us Africans. You know, back then, a lot of our parents will never support you when they see you are going in the line of music because they see music as a waste of time and something for people who are not serious. You understand? People don't see music as a career.
Yes.
You understand? A lot of musicians will tell you how much their parents beat them or drive them away to stop performing. Even Davido of today, There was a podcast the video attended, and he was talking about how his father will come with a convoy of police. They will shut down the whole place, scatter everywhere, drive everybody, will arrest some people like that, because his father never wanted him to do music. Yeah. His father wanted him to go to school, be a graduate, blah blah blah. You know the normal.
Yes, normal way.
The normal conditional. How do I put it? The normal way of life, right? Traditional way of life. Yeah. But he believed in himself. He believed in the talent he has, and he kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And as God will have it today, Davido is either number one or among the top best three in Nigeria or in Africa, right? Yeah. And he's doing well for himself. So the question I want to ask you here is, how did your parents perceive it when they saw you going into music, something and all that? How was it for you with your parents?
Look, see, every parent have this idea for their kids. They want their child to be a doctor, a lawyer,
an engineer.
I wanted to be a petroleum engineer.
Wow. Because
I'm really good at mathematics. I am so good at mathematics, physics, chemistry. I am that smart, that book smart. And I was tilting towards that direction. But growing up as a kid, I had so many talents. Like there was so much that I could do. I was playing football and I was playing it well. I was studying and I was studying well. I was dancing. I was a break dancer. The type that used to hit their body on the ground and get up. As a matter of fact, when we want to rehearse, just normal rehearsals, we wear all those things footballers wear on their ankle, shin guard, and we wear it on our ankles, on our knees, on our hands.
Yes.
And we tie hand glove because of the kind of dance we were dancing then.
And the tricks people put.
Yes, and we were striving to go for Malta Guinness competition then, because that was the thing then. I remember when my dad didn't know I was producing then, but he knew I was dancing, I was rapping, and he never liked it. So I remember when my sister launched her first album, we were supposed to dance in the album launch. And yes, we danced. That was the first time my dad saw the kind of dance,
the talent you have.
And he looked at his first song. And then after the whole performance, he called me one side and said, "Is this how you will be hitting your body in the ground for the rest of your life?" You see that thing he said to me? It sunk in so much that if you tell me to dance now, you'll be surprised that I was responsible then for training about 80% of the dancers in Kaduna State.
Wow.
Yes, I was that good. And people came to me, "If you are a beginner, you didn't know how to dance, don't worry, give me 2 weeks. Come, you will be able to do things that even people will not imagine." That's how passionate I was about everything I was about. And when he said that thing to me, it killed this thing, because I was in a stage where I was trying to now make a decision for myself. I can't be doing so many things at once. I'm dancing, I'm rapping, I'm playing football, I'm producing. So I had to go back to my drawing board and weigh, what is the thing that I love doing the most, that even without money I will still do it.
Yeah.
And I saw that it is music, being a producer, being a record producer, creating sounds and everything. So I focused more on creating sounds and rapping and doing music. And because I was a producer that was different in my sound and everything, as a matter of fact, if you invite me to your church to come and minister, I guarantee you that the sound you heard in the last place is not the same sound and song you will hear. Because I was literally sleeping in the studio. I was always writing, recording myself. I was the first person that inflicted myself with my craft. So if I create a sound, no matter how alien and strange it is, I will bring perspective to it. I used myself train in order to become what I will be or what I am now, that is going into the world to achieve. So there is no kind of artist that I will meet now that I cannot work with, because I was the first person that got myself involved in these things for myself.
From your own bloodline.
From my own bloodline. I was not doing, there was no much artist that I could say, okay, I created this sound, come and vibe to. Moreover, the studio is not my own. Once you are coming into the studio, they assume that you've been paid, mind you. So the only way I could keep myself sharp is by recording myself, creating myself, recording myself, teaching myself how to mix and master in a way it will sound like it is coming from Lagos. That is one of the things that actually also made me stand out. So when my dad found out that it's not school anymore, it is music, he didn't like it. It was a lot of, just like other people who have their stories, things that they went through. I was really fought. One of my beefs with my dad is the fact that I refused to tilt towards his direction. All I was doing was navigate towards my own direction, doing what I wanted to do, not what he wants me to do. There was a time my dad called soldiers for me. There was a time he called soldiers. They came and they locked the entire street. He told them that Boko Haram, because I started keeping my beers then that time, and he said, go and barb your beers. I said, no, why will you tell me to barb my beers? I'm not a kid now to barb my beers. Then I started seeing small money, which I believe will go into when the time comes. I started seeing small money. I started dressing how I wanted to. From the music now started bringing money, money. And then he was trying to now control my life. I was like, you cannot control my life. How will you tell me to go and buy my beers? This beers that I've been trying to keep, that now it has started joining and all. I should now go on. So it became a problem. He now said something to me. He said, I will go to the barracks and I will tell them that you are Boko Haram and that you are planning to bomb a church if you don't shave these beers. I say, I will not do anything like that. I went to the studio, I came back. And before you know, the streets, they blocked the street. I went to buy kunu. My mom sent me to go and buy kunu. I don't know. I think it was a divine something. My mom said, I came back. She said, you've not drank kunu today. Go and buy kunu. So I went to buy kunu. In going to buy the kunu, I saw, if you see this soldier's truck, I said, which bright light? Who are they even coming for? I forgot that my dad told me that he was going to deal with me. Who are these people? Then I now remembered. Then the woman I went to buy kunu from say, why are soldiers come to this street? I now told her, it's me or my dad going to call soldiers for, because I refused to barb my beard. She dragged me inside her room, pushed me inside the parlor, shut the door. I said, don't come out. So I stayed. So after everything, the soldiers now went back. That was when I came out. My mom started telling me that one of the commandants know you. Every time you pass, because sometimes I'll be trekking to complex, that's where the studio was then. I'll be trekking, and I have love and respect for soldiers. So anytime I say, I will bend down, I will greet, well done sir, how is everything sir, like that. So I didn't know I was greeting a commandant that is in charge of maybe a unit. So when he came, my mom was now speaking to my dad in Igbo. Is it because of beards that you went to call soldier for your son? Then my dad was now telling my mom in Igbo that he just wants the soldiers to teach him a lesson, use bottle and barb the beard since he refused to listen, things like that. And then the commander now heard it and now say, is this the reason why you brought us? Now speaking to my family in Igbo, because he didn't want his unit to know that this is a family matter. Speaking to them in Igbo, and now told them that why will you do this now? This is just say, who is this boy you're talking about, Seth? My mom now say he has beers, he keeps low cut, I explained that, brought my picture and show him. She said, that I know this guy now. Is he not the producer that always works in a studio complex? This boy does not have an issue now. He's very respectful. He greets me, he greets us. Every time we pass, he checks and know how we are doing. That's how he called his whole unit and said, please let us go. This is a family matter. That was how we left. So it was that serious for me. This is just one story, to make you understand, out of so many.
Man,
Yes.
I can only but imagine your own dad bringing an entire battalion to come and arrest you because of your line of career that you.
Do you know that was the reason why I left to stay on my own? That was what prompted me to move out of the house to stay on my own, because I produced the project then for 60,000. That was a lot of money, by the way. I was the only one that was collecting that amount of money then for a production. You get. So I used that money to go and rent a one bedroom self-con at the back of Genie School. Yes, 60,000, by the way. Yes,
that's big money now.
Yes.
If we're going back to that.
Yes.
Anyway, you were already talking about money.
Yes.
And all that. So let's talk about money.
Okay.
Would you say there is money in the entertainment industry down here in the north? And can you advise someone who wants to go into music production to go into it, considering the fact that that person is looking to make a career out of it, to be able to put food on his table? Is there money in music production down here in the north? And would you advise somebody to go into it? And have you made money? And how would you, when you say you have made money, we want to really understand to what extent.
Okay. When I started, I didn't start with the money mindset. I first started with
passion.
It was a passion.
Yeah.
And then the passion started developing into value. I now started seeing that this my craft is bringing some sort of respect, and people started walking up to me telling me, I will like your sound. How much will you collect for a project? You know, I remember when I was talking, I was telling how I'll collect 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, like that. People just bring food because maybe I've not eaten for a while. They'll bring food, and the food, I say, okay, just go Chicken Republic, buy food, come. I go do one track for you. I started through all those phases. I went through all those phases. I remember I had a girlfriend then, and she was about going for service. I met her in the studio where I was working. She came for her, is it internship or so to speak? Yeah. She came there, and I looked upon this lady, and she was good to look upon. And I asked her out, and she liked me, and apparently we started dating. Now something happened, and she was supposed to go to serve, and I didn't have any money to give to her, because then, I'll sleep in the studio, wake up, I was barely going home. It's the owner of the studio that will cook food from his wife will cook food and bring to me in the studio to eat. Yes, all I just cared about was this sound I'm doing, because then I felt if I stand up and leave here, someone will come and sit, and it will be hard for me to come back. So and then he will bring people to work, do projects. I will do it for them. He will keep the money. Sometimes he will give me something like that. It was just a learning process. But something happened when I had a relationship, and I had this mentality then that if you are in a relationship, you should be able to do one or two for the person you say you are in a relationship with. That's been my mentality then. It's still my mentality now. Yes, so she was about going for service. I didn't have anything to give her. So what I did was I now started hitting up on my producers. Come and work. Bring 1K, bring 2K, bring 3K. This one will bring 5K. I'll do the one that bring 5K, I'll do 2 tracks. The band that bring 1K, I'll just do, So I was able to gather, and I gathered 13,000 naira. And when she was now going for the service, I now gave her, I said, I don't have much money. She was even surprised. I said, but take this 13,000 naira. Then I realized that, okay, I need to up my game now. Since I have the name, because name doesn't equate to money. Yeah. You can be very popular and you don't have anything. Yes. So I was I was known then, popular. I will come out, this is actually, but I didn't have money attached to that kind of name. So I woke up and I said, I will start collecting 10,000 naira for one song. I remember the owner of the studio then said, 10,000 is not possible now. You cannot. Who will pay you 10,000 naira this time? I said I'll collect.
The cardinal mentality.
Yes, the cardinal mentality. Then everyone that come, I'll say it's 10,000 for one song, 10,000 for one song. They'll say, okay, let's go and prepare. Some will now call me. I don't have 10, but I have 5. I'll say, okay, come. Some will say I don't have 10 but I have 7. I'll say okay, come. But you see that I've moved from 2,000, 1,000, if you have, just come to anything and a plate of food to monetizing my craft.
Yeah.
You see, so I moved from that to they started now. So anyone that knows, okay, X-Ray collects 10,000 naira now. But if you have 7,000 naira, if you go and beg him,
he can accept.
So they will come with 7,000 naira and they will beg me. I'll now tell them, I don't collect an artist price. Add 500 naira to your 7,000 naira. So it will go on the record that it is me that build you, and you are the one that is paying me what I am asking for, not what you think you want to give me. So I started consciously building that, that brand and putting that in people's mind. So people now say, if you get 7, just hold extra 1K, because he will ask you to add so amount on it. So it became like a rule and a principle. Then when the engineer in that studio came back, we had issues, and that I'm taking his clients, we are dragging this thing, and then I was accused of starting my own label under the same company. Now I'm collecting 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira. I'm not even eating well. Where is the resources to start a label then? Because I understood then, I was neck deep into the music business. I understood then that starting a label means you need to promote the artist, buy the artist clothes, produce the artist songs, organize shows for the artists, then, and all the little things, at least do something that they will feel. So how am I being accused? So they had a general meeting and they put me in the middle and they said that I started a label. Whereas I had artists that were loyal to me, that I work for. If there are shows, I will take them, I will give that. I'll say, I have this artist I'm producing. It's a way of advertising my own sound.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with the fact that I had a label under them.
Yes.
But the CEO was not having it then. He said I should give him his key. I remember crying that day, like they broke my heart. I was crying. I said, sir, please don't do this. Where will I go? What will I do? This is where I know. This is the only place I know. This is the only. What will I do now like this? Where will I start from? He said, he don't care. At least he's tried. I should just give him his key and go. I appreciated him for everything, and I thank him for at least giving me an opportunity and a platform. But then I didn't know that my name has become that big, that popular, that people could tell that this guy is out of his studio. Then people that had studios, because the studio I was working in then, they were using this, this home theater speaker, those ones that have extra foam like that. And
yes.
You use radio, this thing as the amp, to connect, and then put keyboard and all those things, and then big computer and all. Those are the setup I was using, and I loved it and I appreciated it so much. But now people that now had studios, real studios that had the real equipment, now started
with more digitized equipment.
Yes, now started reaching out to me, say, come and work for me now. Come and work for me. Come and work. Come and stay in my studio. I will give you access. Let's just be sharing the money 50-50. That's when the 50-50. I say 50-50. They say yes. So my clients now, because I've developed a strong fan base and people like my sound, wherever I now go to, they follow me. That was how they now started following me, and extra other people started coming. The owner of the studio, who was Dombila then, he started telling people that X-Ray is now working with us. So people now started coming. His client will come. He was collecting 15,000 naira then. We'll split the money into two. Since I'm the one working, my client will come. Since it's 15,000 naira then, I now up my standard to 15,000, and people will come. Then I stayed one day and I said, okay, let me increase my price to 60,000 for one song. Dombila said, don't do it, nobody will come. And people started coming and asking for 30,000 naira, please, I'll work for them. 40,000 naira with please, I'll work for them. A particular celebrity came then that she had my name. You remember late Kefi Branama that died? Yes. Her best friend, her name is ST. She's a gospel minister. She heard about me and my sound
and your craft,
and she came, and she was the first person that paid me 60,000 naira for one song. Paid another 60. like that. Then
Wow.
I worked on 3 of her projects in her album and mixed a couple of those. That was when I was able to, start having money. Now something profound happens. You see, when you create value for yourself, people of value will tilt towards you.
Definitely.
If you don't create value for yourself, there is no how people that already have found value in themselves and what they do will want to associate with you, knowing that you are either myopic or archaic, or you are not ready to advance.
Yes.
And all those things. Because then I started teaching other producers how to mix and master. I started mixing other producers' work. I started teaching them how to advance in their sound. Then now this is moving towards 2011, 2012. And I was collecting that amount of money that time. Producers and people now started coming to me, say, I want you to set up my studio. Wow. I will start running setup for them, buying the equipment, and doing all those things. Yes, configure the entire studio and create sounds in the studio, bring artists, create traffic, make sure the artists, the studio stand.
Yeah.
So a time came when there's this friend of mine, he's a producer. I met him in the Dombilla studio. His name is Dollar Infinity. He was producing in the Dombilla studio and going to other studios like Rough Rasta studio to produce, and all. So I was there and we were always interchanging. Lovely guy, Then that was when it was through him I learned how to take my keyboard skills very seriously, because he's a talented keyboardist. Oh my God. When he plays the bass line like this, he's crazy. It's crazy. So me, I now said, I cannot be here, and this guy, I will not see what I will be looking at him when he's doing his whole fingering methods, and I'll be looking at him. Then one day I decided to create his type of sound, and he was in the studio that day. I remember he was outside and he opened the door and he looked at me. So I challenged myself every time I met someone who was
higher.
Yes, higher. I'll challenge myself to be better. It didn't have anything now to do with the fact that I can produce. It had everything now to do with so now through this same guy, he got a deal from a label in New York. There was one of his friends, his name is Urban. And then I met Urban, and Urban was always coming to the studio all the time. So when Urban had a deal, had someone in New York that signed him, and he needed a producer here, then since him and my friend Dollar Infinity and Urban are close, they decided to he now linked my Dollar Infinity up with the record label in New York. HCO Entertainment is the name of the record label. And then they started working, creating sound. They didn't have a studio of their own, so what they do is they will send money to him. He will go and pay for studio sessions in the Dombilla studio. So they will be splitting the money like that, and Dombilla was happy with that arrangement, and all. So sometimes he will now say that I should mix some of the job because the workload was too much. He was schooling then and all. So, and he had a target to meet. So I will now mix the work.
Yeah.
And then the man now started asking, who is mixing these jobs? And he now said that it is another producer, is my friend. So I spoke to him. Then he now told me, produce my artist now. I said, no problem. I now produced the Urban, and he liked the work. Then he said he wants to sign me too into the label. I said, no wahala now. Made a sign. That was how he sent a lawyer from Lagos that came. We signed the document and we began working. Money now started coming. I'll send sounds to him. He will sell. He will produce his artist, and whatnot. And then the money started going from the 60,000 to I was still in this town and I was collecting 300,000 naira for a song.
Wow.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yes.
This Kaduna
300,000
guys,
naira. In
let's
this
go let music production.
And this was 2014, 2015.
Wow.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Very massive.
Yes. This was 2014, 2015. As a matter of fact, it was during that time with the record label in New York that I sat one day. I finished setting up a new studio for a friend of mine. His name is Ribbon. He's a man of God now. And I was in the studio when the CEO called me from New York, and he said that he wants us to let us create more sounds and all. And I told him, all this money that you are sending, why don't you gather it, sum it up for an entire year and send to me? Let me buy studio equipment, because then I didn't have studio equipment.
Yes.
Let me buy studio equipment for HCO Entertainment. So anytime we want to work, we know we have a studio. We don't need to be paying all these people 50,000 a year, 100,000 a year like that in order to have access to their studio. And then he said that this is a brilliant idea. He never thought of it. He was excited. So he did something better. He went to the store. He bought state-of-the-art equipment. He bought a Mac desktop, those slim ones. Then
yes.
He installed it with plugins. He got me a Focusrite 18i20.
Whoa!
That's one that is like a CD.
Yeah.
This thing. We got BX8 M-audio speakers, keyboard, everything. We had everything, and he sent it to me and said, this should be in your house. No problem. We set up. We started working. It was during that period that I called, all the people that have been with me, that have been through thick and thin.
Yeah.
Come, let us celebrate. Come and thank God for my life and all He's done. This was 2014. I remember cooking spaghetti then, and we were like, how many? I think like 12 thereabout. I went out because there was this big mama coke that was raining then.
Yeah.
I don't used to drink, I don't used to smoke. So the same rule that applies to you, that you will not buy me coke when you are in your settings, sitting and drinking. Me, I will not buy you beer when I know I don't drink. So I went to buy coke for anybody. I left my food. I came back, ate the food, and then I discovered that something was happening to me. To cut the whole long story short, I was poisoned.
Wow.
Yes. That was the period of serious shaking in my life from that 2014 to I battled my life 2 consecutive years in the hospital. I was operated upon 7 times. They had to cut from a part of my body, my lap, to cover, because my whole neck was open. This was because I started tilting towards a direction that my hard work created for me, but there was some set of individuals that didn't like it, that felt it's supposed to have been them. How did I got a deal? When did I start? I got a deal. I'm collecting this amount of money. Now I have this kind of state-of-the-art equipment. Then this equipment that I was worth, plus the plugins, was worth over $5,000 then, 2014. So it was a big deal.
A very big deal.
And all. But there's something that thing did. It united the whole entertainment industry, because what happened then was the whole of Kaduna came together. Because at that time we lost Chronic, and people were like, we cannot lose X-Ray. So there were rallies. They would take my picture of me now and me then and me now, with the whole open and decayed flesh and everything. I'm going shop to shop for money. So the entertainment industry came together, raised funds, generated so much income. My hospital, because of how popular I was then, I was in Graceland Hospital. They took me from the general place and put me into a private ward where only governors and senators stays. They're asking, who is this guy? Because when they come, people were coming in the morning, staying till night. They now had to shift the visiting time from 4 to 6. People will still come around 10, wait from 4 to 6 to come and see me. It was like a site. It was like a tourist attraction site. Radio stations were airing it. I was trending on Twitter then. People were putting my this thing, Save X-Ray. Kochi played the most significant role. The owner of Compass, the dance ministry, great servant of God. He played an immense role. People came together. Marvelous, Dare, the one that has made in Croc City. So many people came together. Bishop Talk, but the ones you think don't know you, everyone came together. Radio houses and everybody. And then the entertainment industry came one day. Kaduna as a whole came one day and presented money to me. They raised like 567,000 naira, 55 naira. You understand? Like there's a 55 naira to it, and they brought the money and they said this is on behalf of the entire entertainment industry. I'm saying this for a reason, so people will not think that there is no love. People just need an incentive. They need to know that the same unity, the same love you have in your heart is the same love this same person have in his heart. You know, sometimes they need, it's not necessarily a good thing, but sometimes people need, there needs to be a reason. You need to have proved beyond reasonable doubt, because you know what they say about the heart of man. He need to have proved beyond reasonable doubt.
Yes.
So God used me that time to bring the entire Kaduna entertainment industry together. And when they brought that money, I remember I was crying, because I was live for a year. I was not eating, I was not walking, I was lying down. You know, look at how slim I am. I was times 2. Divide me into 3. That was how I was then. Barely trying to survive. All because of, you know, envy, which is normal in this business. You see, when they brought the money, I took the money and I put it under my pillow. And then my mom raised me up so I could go ease myself then. And when we came back, I checked, the money was missing. Someone else took the money. Then I told my mom, did you take this money? She said, no, she didn't take the money. I said, the money is missing. But when I now spoke to, I think I spoke to Kochi, I spoke to some people that were close to me then. And then he went and he fetched the money. You know, the person now said that it was the person that kept the money like that. But then some amount of money was also still missing, you know, from it. You know, so that 2 years was a year of reflection and transition. After that 2 years, that was when I got a call that I was needed in Ghana. After I barely even got out of the hospital. They came, a record label came from Ghana and took me. And that was how it began for me. I started flying from this country to the other, doing this same music that started from just playing
empty com
to producing from 300. I moved to 600. From 600, I remember the first time you encountered me, you know how much I spoke to you about playing for Gova this thing.
Yes.
And that was because you came through someone that I know.
Yeah.
So you have an idea on what I'm talking about. So I moved from that to collecting 600. So the more my portfolio increased, this one that labels were looking for me
Definitely
up and
your
down,
charges will
my
also...
charges began to increase.
Yes.
At this point now, I collect 1.5 for a single song, and I'm in Kaduna now, and I'm still collecting that kind of money for a job.
1.5 million
yes,
to produce one
track. I can show you receipt.
Right here
I
in
can
Kaduna,
show you receipt now.
Yes,
I can show you receipt now. My jobs come from different parts of the world.
Do you have an academy? I want to learn.
Yes. So this same
The thing here is, you make 1.5 million.
Yes.
Just to produce
one song,
one soundtrack.
Yes.
Wow. And right here in Kaduna.
Yes, right here in Kaduna.
State.
Yes.
So for those who think starting a music career, not as a musician, as a music producer,
yes,
is not something viable in Kaduna. I hope right now, wherever you are,
that's not true.
Your mentality should change from what you've had today. Not just Kaduna specific.
Yes.
It could be Jos, Plateau State, it could be Nasarawa State,
yes,
it could be Kano, wherever.
Yes.
As far as we are in northern Nigeria, because we are discussing the entertainment industry
yes,
as regards to northern Nigeria.
Yes.
You make 1.5 million. That is, we're talking 7 figures.
Yes,
right?
7 figures.
Right here
in Kaduna,
in northern Nigeria.
Yes.
That's a big one.
It is.
So, in all of this, right, I know you have spoken of the time when you were charging 60,000 and all that, but in summary, what was your biggest hit so far, so good, in the career of music production? What would you say is that one big break, one big blow that you ever made?
Okay. There are plenty.
We know there are plenty, but there's one that stands out.
To me, it's not the recent ones,
Okay.
because the recent ones is just a proof of how far I've come, of how well developed I have become.
You have become over time.
Yes, and I don't charge based on the sound. I charge based on three things.
Okay.
I charge based on me as a person.
Mm.
I now charge based on my creativity, and then the hours I will spend. So me as a person is a brand. That is why you are coming to me.
Yeah.
My creativity is what makes the sound what it is, and is making you to tilt towards my direction. Now, I don't need, like, for instance, and this is to challenge all producers. Most producers are very, very relaxed. They go to a studio and they are looking for sound bank. There's what we call sound bank. There is the software, like, for instance, there's Nexus, and then you need the sound bank, the sound that comes inside the Nexus. You will need it, the keyboard sound, the pad sound, the this sound to make your sound. And if you don't have those things, some people cannot really work, or it will show and reflect in their sound.
Yes.
And this is where the difference is, because as a producer you are supposed to be able to work
create
with,
your own library,
your own
sound. Not depend on
depend on
made libraries.
Yes, your own sound. I can create a sound with just a sound from this bottle, and with this I can create kick, I can create snare, I can create a drum line, I can create pad, I can create keyboards, I can create whatever it is I want to create just from a signed sound, because I know sound design.
Yeah.
And this sound design is not something anyone taught me. It's something that I knew that because a time came in my career that I saw that I need more. So I decided to challenge myself. There are some sound I'll be hearing in my head that are not in this sound bank. So will I settle for what is there, or will I dare myself to create mine?
Create something.
That is how we started. So all these things, anytime I produce, it is 95% sound design, then 5% any other thing. You know, so this is why I charge how I charge, and it is not like a condition. I will not water down the standard. It is either you want to do or you don't. Some people may ask that it's not every time now. Everybody, how many people will they pay you this kind of money? Then that's one.
Of course.
Yes, and then two, aside the fact say then you can, even if it is 2 jobs you do in a month. It is, if you are not an extravagant person that spends anyhow, that 2 jobs should be like 3 million naira. It should carry you for 6 months.
Yes.
You can pay your rent from that money
and manage yourself.
And manage yourself for 6 months. Then when we are doing your shakarati, the next person come along and you charge the person the same money. 95% of my job comes from outside the country, Europe, that is the US, Germany, France, Italy. To name a few. And the people that are sending those money, they are not white people, they are black people
who live there.
And even in this same Nigeria we are, I have people that pay that kind of money for a job. So basically the recent success story is not what strikes it for me. It was the time I charged 60,000 naira.
That was a big break
in Kaduna, and it actually came.
You charge 60,000 naira as
at 2010, 2011.
No, what I'm trying to say here is,
yes,
you charge 60,000 naira at a time when other producers were charging 10,000 naira.
No, they were collecting 5,000. They were collecting 5,000, 2,000, and food.
So
yes, I was there. I moved from there.
So,
but they were
when producers were collecting around 2,000 naira to 5,000 naira.
Yes,
I was
collecting 60,000 naira.
You were charging 60,000 naira.
Yes,
and the very first time you got somebody who paid that 60,000, that was when you discovered it was a big break.
That was what gave me the vim, the strength to know that whatever price I put on my craft now, I've developed some certain kind of stature.
Portfolio.
Yes, that whatever price I put on my price, whatever price I put on my brand now, even if it is not going to be that amount, they will try their best to reach it. That is the trick.
Yeah.
That is the trick.
Yeah.
Now, if someone hits me up now, they already know my price. I'll first ask you, how did you hear about me? And you say it's through this person. I'll tell you, go back and ask the person how much I charge. This is presently now, before we have a conversation. When the person have spoken to me and he told me that you charge like 1.5, that's like $1,000 for a job, and so on, I will now say, okay, so you want us to work. The person now say, I want to do 3 songs, so I want to do an album, I want to do an EP, or yes, I want to do 1 song, but I don't have $1,000. I have $700. I'll say, okay, that's fine, but this is just for one time, the first time base. Next time will not be like that. Then the person now say, thank you. I'll now say, oh, we can do something better. If you will work on a project of 5 track, this is where the business comes into play. If you work on if you work on a project of 5 track, knowing I collect $1,000 for a single job, and I charge based on where you are as a region. If you are in the US, it's dollar. If you are in Europe, like Germany, it's euro. If you are in the UK, it's pounds. That is how I charge based on those figures. So since you already know this is how much I charge, why don't we do it this way? Work on a body of work with me. I'll collect 500 for each one, and the person will gladly run towards it and collect it.
Of course, because it's cheaper.
Yes, it's cheaper. So when you sum it up, you can tell how much. You can have an idea on how much that is when I change it into my currency. You see what I'm saying? But that 60,000 naira was what gave me vim to say, okay, I can now start collecting 300,000 naira here before I even went out, and it happened.
60,000 naira, that was a big break.
Yes.
All right. At this point in time, I would like to ask you, let's try to keep this short this time around.
Yes, very.
How can you talk to music producers, whether you are from the northern part of Nigeria, the east, the west, or the south, wherever you are, as far as you are upcoming music producer, can you look at our people, our audience, and tell them how to monetize their craft? How can they make money from music industry? If you can give them 3 ways or 5 ways,
yes,
just how can we make money from music production as a career?
It's very, very simple. You see, we're in a time now where everything is digitalized. You need to know how to operate in the digital space. This is part of what I do, because I own a PR company, and part of what we do is we turn studios into record labels. We close deals for record labels, negotiate, the best partnership deals, maybe for a celebrity. Maybe you want a celebrity, how to tap into the celebrities, fame in order to achieve something for your own establishment that is coming up. It's part of the things I do. You need to understand that now there are so many things you can do in order to make it's easier now than it used to be then. You need to be registered in all the right bodies as a producer. You need to understand that as a producer, your intellectual property is key. I cannot overemphasize on this. Whether an artist pays you ₦1 million or 2 million naira or 5 million naira, you are still entitled to a split sheet, a royalty split from that job. Ensure that there is a contract that is signed on behalf of this body of work. You and the artist have spoken that aside the fact that this is how much I collect to work, this is how much I collect as producer royalties. Then ensure that you are registered in all the right bodies. For instance, you need to be registered in BMI. You need to be registered in either Cetric or Ditto or Song Trust.
Okay.
You need to be registered in you said I should give 3. You need to be registered also in mlt.com. This will enable you track your royalties and get what is due to you every time your sound is played. It automatically comes to you because you will as well have registered your own sounds, because this is your own sounds. You see, but artists thinks it's in the money now that they pay, that is not where the money is. The money is in this split sheet.
Yes.
It's in this royalty agreement.
Yes.
You cannot say you want to work with someone like me now and you will not do a split sheet. I'll collect a 20% from you even after you've paid what you've paid.
Wow.
Yes.
What about in the case where you meet an artist that like, okay, tell me whatever you're going to charge. I don't want split sheet kind of thing. Do you?
Yes, that one is doable.
Okay.
But it's simply, I will still collect royalties. it may not be up to 10%, but it must 5% will be involved. Because if an artist comes to me now and says, I just want to pay you outrightly, can you pay me $50,000? Can you? Because this means that and this is the risky side of this thing, an artist comes to you and says, I want to pay you outrightly, and you say, okay, it's $50,000 I charge, and the person now gives you that $50,000, and then 2 months later you see that the song has generated over 1 billion streams on Spotify alone, 750 million streams on Apple Music alone, and it has sold over 500,000 units on iTunes alone. You cannot compare the 5% that you will get, even if you say don't pay me, just give me 5%, to 50,000 naira, because a million streams across all platforms, depending, it varies. It's like $35,000 for 1 million streams.
Wow. But I understand what you're trying to say.
Yes.
However, I think producers, especially upcoming producers, should be very careful with going into stuff like this. In as much as, yes, it is good to have all the legality in check, right, before you go into contract like this. One should also be careful, because that could lead you to losing clients. You understand? You know, even you, from where you start, it wasn't like this.
I know one like that.
I don't even know. Like that.
I don't even know.
But you had to grow your portfolio to a certain level before you could start.
Yes, but that is true.
Yeah.
But there is a different side to it. You see, music now is digitalized.
Yeah.
You will see someone that just started hitting ding 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 ding. Before you know, that person
don't blow.
It don't blow. Know these things for yourself. Bring it on the table. Don't be insecure to bring it up. Don't have fear that this person. I have so many celebrities that are blue tick. This was before they started buying blue tick. So that will message me and tell me, I want your beat. I will send them price and I'll send them the contract. They stopped messaging me. Why? Because when they know that, and these people take advantage of producers. This is why I thank God for this podcast, so they would know. There are artists and management that will take advantage of you now. They don't care if you know. They'll say, no, there's no need for a split sheet, let's just do this, let's just do that. They are making millions of dollars off your sound, and you are collecting stipends and going on to the next, creating sounds. No. Register your brand, register in all the right outlets first, have it, then register. Even if it's your sample pack or everything, register it under those outlets that you've gained authorization for via the one-time payments that you made. Because, for instance, now BMI, just know how you've registered under BMI. That registration, either $75 or $150 something dollars, for $75 for an artist, an individual, $150 for a band, and then for a record label is $250. Now you decide to register under that thing. That registration is just giving you access to their platform, where you can now start registering your own products under. Your own product. So you will not assume because you've registered there that is all. You will now need to log in and start doing the necessary registrations one by one, and these things takes time. That is why part of my job as a consultant for record labels and artists is to get these things done. So as an artist, it is important that you register. Just register. So when a situation like that presents itself, you already know that you have all the necessary things, you know, to follow. Yes.
To follow.
Yes.
All right. At this point in time, I would like us to now let's move into your present day you.
Yes.
You are now a minister of the gospel, right?
Yes.
How did it go, the transition from being a music producer, and you moved over to becoming a minister, an apostle? How did it happen? What was that striking moment that you felt, oh, you've been called and you want to go into the ministry?
Now the thing is, I always knew I had the call of God upon my life. One, because aside the fact that I would just say it has nothing to do with the fact that I was born into a clergy family. You understand? Because there are people that are not born into a clergy families and the call of God rests upon their life. It's either maybe their third generation or had that calling that was missed in maybe their previous generation had that calling that was missed or misplaced. And then God decided to wait maybe 3-4 generations to call someone into that fold. You see? But for me, before I was born, this is the story of my dad, because obviously my dad was saying that he knew when I was coming and God already told him that I'm going to be a minister of the gospel. Now people tend to think that this minister, why is your dad that told you you're a minister of the gospel? What does that have to do with my dad? My dad's calling is not my calling. Maybe my dad is trying to just transfer who he is so it can continue. The mandate can continue. But when he told me that I'll be a minister of the gospel, told me some things about my future, how much of an international ministry I have, and the exploit God wants to use me to do, I was still focused on my music and, everything. I'll go to church, we'll spend all night, praying and all those things. I was still a teenager till when I moved from teenage, till when I started getting money. But then I always had that consciousness that, okay, this is what my dad said, and if it is true, the one that told him will confirm it to me. So I kept telling him, saying things to the Holy Spirit. Now I said, I'm not running, because the way things started moving for me, I'm in this country today. I'm in that country. I carry my passport, dust it, I've gone, come back. Subconsciously I knew that I'm just doing this. This is just a time. I'm using it to while away time, to wait for when the real job will come. That is my calling.
Yeah.
Yes, because I already knew that I was told that there's a call of God upon my life. And there were times that I'll be praying and I'll be, I had that inclination that, okay, it's like this thing is true, but I didn't encounter completely. I remember one day I was in one of the countries where I went to work, and I came out from my apartment and I moved out, and I don't know, I stood and I started talking to the Holy Spirit, and then, mind you, I was neck deep in sin. I was living life anyhow. I will fly this one from here, fly that one from there. It was because I had the means, I had this thing, but I remember talking to him. I said, I know I have a calling, that you've called me, because you've borne witness that you called me. It didn't have anything now to do with what my father said. The same person now that told my dad started telling me, aside from the mouth of every minister of the gospel that I encountered or that I met, and all those things and the places that we went to, I started encountering and knowing this for myself, that okay, there's a call of God upon my life. That's fine, but he's not called me to start. So I always tell him, when I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing, I'll now tell him, I'm not running. Anytime you say I should come, I should start, I will start. But just now I'm not running. I'm waiting for you to tell me. I did that consecutively for about close to 7 years of things going smoothly for me. Sometime I'll just retract and say, so that time when I walked out of my apartment, I now started telling those people, see, I'm trying to make this much money so that when I start ministry, evangelism will be sweet. It will be easy. I'll just come out of my car and call all the people that are on the road, maybe that are hungry, or maybe I'll just pack them inside my car, take them to Iyawo, or take them to one Chicken Republic, eat, and start talking to them about the God of the Bible, and tell them, don't you see my life? Don't you see?
A living testimony.
I'm a living testimony. And they ask me, how did you do that? I say, it's Jesus now, his ministry and all. But you see, man have his own plan, and God has his own plan. So it was shortly after that prayer, the Holy Spirit now said, it is time. Oh yeah, come back. That was during COVID 2020. I smuggled myself into this country because there was no flight, there was no anything. I was jumping from one country to the other, one boss to the other, one region to the other. Even when I now finally entered Nigeria, because of how fresh I was looking, the custom, because we are trying to disguise now, let it look like we just came out from this hotel, trying to move. It's a lie. The custom say you are coming, you're not in this country. I say, how did you know? He said, he called me the French burger. What did they call him? That was, I had to pay so much money for them to, because it was during lockdown, COVID then, and my studios, the only thing I took was my studio stuff, and all. And when I came back, I didn't assume it was time. I didn't assume, okay, because God have said, come and start ministry, that you just go and now start ministry. I knew I had lots of baggages. I knew I had so many things inside of me, the kind of life I've lived in the past, sinful life, lust of the flesh, addictions and whatnot. I knew it had to go, because if I'm someone that if I want to do something, I want to do it well. If I want to produce, I want to produce well. If I want to be an apostle, I need to have all the gifts and abilities that the apostles had. And Jesus need to appear to me and usher me into apostleship. It's not me that will get up and say, hey, I'm now an apostle. So there are series of consecrations you need to go for. Even Jesus will first take notice and put you in his calendar and say, okay, I can see that there is a man, his name is, I'm noticing. Then before he now come answer, so he took series of prayers, fastings. I started fasting from 2020. It's close to 5 years now, and I've not stopped. I'm always at it. It is segment upon segment, time, yielding. So it took discipline. It took obedience. It took me living those flamboyant life, because then anytime I touch down Nigeria, but they know.
Anyway, so now that you are into ministry, right?
Yes.
Do you still produce secular music?
No.
Okay.
The truth is, I don't produce secular music. I produce gospel music. And do you know that gospel music has given me the most money in my life?
I was about to ask you that question.
They are the ones that pay me 1.52 million. No? Gospel. They are the ones. I'm not saying that there are other people out there in the secular world that don't get that kind of money. They do. But you will need to have done so many things and compromised in so many ways. I remember one time now, one of the record labels I went to, he was telling me that I should do Yahoo now. That is what people come here, that why am I told him that's not what I came to do. So there are people that, in order to be in that sphere, I'm not saying that there are not people that are not clean and getting it. There are. But the gospel has given me the most money, and given my morals and my standard. I will not say, now if a secular artist come and meet me and say, I want you to do a song for me, I will tell you, send me your lyrics, send me the song, let me hear it. Then if it has anything to do with vulgar words and things that are not I'll tell you, I cannot produce you. If you can give me a clean sound that can resonate in the mind of everybody. I mean, there are inspirational music. There are different kinds of sounds you can create.
Of course.
You can write about, the love of a mother, or maybe your wife. There are different kinds of sounds that you can create that don't have anything to do with talking about a woman's figure.
Secular
and
isn't
drinking.
just secular.
Yes, secular isn't just secular. There is a wide range of things to it. So if the lyrics is clean enough and my spirit agrees with it, then I would work with you. But so far so good. The ones that have been really, really productive and beneficial is in the gospel sphere, and that is also God trying to make a statement, trying to tell me a few things. So yeah.
Well, that's a big one. But now that you are into ministry and also your music is mainly in the side of gospel sounds and all that, what is that common challenge that you face? Being a pastor and apostle at the same time, music producer, what is that challenge that you face right now, especially since your music is specifically gospel right now?
I don't think I face any challenge, and the reason why that is because there's a way my mind has been programmed right from start.
Okay.
I see it as, if this thing is supposed to be, it would be. If this is the way it's supposed to go, it will go. It's as simple as that. You know, we have other things to worry about in the gospel sphere of other people thinking that when you start, where all these things they work for you this way. So it's the same thing, even the same way it's in the world, is the same way it is in this fold. You see, the challenge is the fact that unity is not really existing, and some people tend to think that they are more anointed than others. And the ones that are anointed tend to look down on the ones that are just in the process.
Yeah.
You see, you know, and all that. But generally, if I should say it's a challenge, I see it as a take up your cross and follow me. You know, because when Jesus was speaking to the disciples that later became apostles, he didn't tell them that they following him is going to be bed of roses and walk in the park. He told them that they will go through similar thing he went through. As a matter of fact, people will rise up and kill them and think that they are doing it for Christ. You see, so the Christianity that was passed down to us from Jesus is the Christianity of the cross. Everyone, but the thing is, there is grace that has been given to us that helps us amount victorious in every hurdles we come across. The only thing is understanding that first, there is a hurdle, there is a cross, you need to carry it. Then asking the Holy Spirit, who is the helper, to give you the grace to carry it. The more you carry it, the more abilities is wielded to you. The more of God you know, the more of Christ you know, the more deeper you go in him. The more promotion, the more your rank increases in the realm of the Spirit. It is the ability to understand that there is a cross and you are carrying yours. Understanding what your own cross is first, and then carrying it with grace is what will help this thing become easy. So if someone rise, for instance, and start hating on you and what God is using you to do, you understand that in this sphere, God has given you an ability. He's given you the grace. He's put this in your hand in such a way that he knows that even with the hurdles and the breeze that everyone is going to throw at you, no matter what it is, he knows that you are capable, because he will look and say, he knew that this was going to happen, and I've called him for this fold, and I've given him the ability. You see?
All right, yes. Apostle, you're taking a lot of time. But anyway, I understand.
Yes.
So, speaking of the gospel and secular music, which you're doing right now, right? You said something, I think you've already clarified that, but I want to put it in this way. Let's say you have an upcoming producer out there, somebody wants to go into music production, right? And the person is going, yes, the person is talented with the gift, he's good with the craft, but the person is going into it for the money.
For the money.
Right? Would you be advising the person to tilt towards gospel music production or secular music production? That is, yes, if the end goal is to make money, become rich.
I will tell the person, the moment you start going into it for money, that you are wrong. You are wrong. The first thing is this what you love and want to do? If the answer is yes, then do it for the love of it. The money will come when you strategically place yourself and place value on yourself. Whether gospel or secular, there is money in it. The problem with that person that is going into it for money is he can compromise and do anything to ensure that he gets money.
Now, I know somebody is watching, and what the person wants to hear be say, gospel and secular, which one they pay? Pass.
Both they pay.
Which one pay? Pass.
The both. The both. It has to do with your connections, your value, you understand, and your brand. You see, if you have good connection, first, value, yes, your brand,
yes,
then connection. If you have been able to establish these three chains, I'm telling you, money will come to you. Whether even you want to. I have clients that because of my ministerial work, I don't really have that much time. I have people that will actually wait for the window that I have before they will put out a body of work.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, in Kaduna to be specific, right? What advice do you have for upcoming producers who are yet to have their own studio or equipment or capital to set up their own production studio?
Oh, it's very simple. Get a laptop, get a headphone. There's this guy, his name is Logix. He's a very young guy. He comes to me and from time to time. He's someone that even his system was so dilapidated, but the sounds that guy creates from that system. He came the first day he came to me, he asked me plenty questions. He said, "Sir, how are you doing this? How did you get here? What are the things? What do you charge?" I told him. He shouted. He said, "So how do I get here?" I said, "This is how you get there. This is what you do." So you see, mentorship is needed in this matter.
Mentorship
is highly needed.
That is the epic of all.
Yes.
Of everything I've heard right now.
Yes.
Mentorship. Whatever one is doing in life,
yes.
Whether you want to go into cryptocurrency, you need a mentor.
Yes.
You want to go into forex trading, you need a mentor. You want to go into music production, you need a mentor.
Yes.
You want to go into movie as an actor or an actress, you need a mentor.
Yes.
Somebody to mentor you, somebody who have gone through that
all
same
those
journey.
Hurdles, yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And came out successful.
Yes.
You need them to mentor you if you want to succeed in that industry.
Indeed, because the advantage of a mentor is he will take you from all the experience you've gone through. He's not going to let you go through similar experience. He will show you the route that those experiences took him to get to them. He'll just bring you and place you there. Say, this one, don't do it. It's a waste of time. Don't do this, don't do this. This is what you should do in order to become this. If you do it this way, this is the result. If you don't do it this way, this is the result. I was having a conversation with one of my friends in the US, and that is taking music now to the next level. I was telling him now, there are things that you need to start doing. I'm telling you this thing now because you've gotten to that pedestal. And if I don't tell you, I will be a wicked person. So these are the most things you must do before any of your sound goes out again. And we're working towards it. So basically, that's it.
On a very final note, I want to ask, or possibly before the final note, right?
Okay.
What lessons have you learned so far in your journey from being a regular secular man to right now an apostle, a music producer from secular music, also to gospel music right now that you're doing? What has been your life journey so far, the experience? What has lessons that life has taught you so far? In brief.
Yes. I've learned to just trust God. Because you see, in everything we are doing, there is a force behind it. You see that the force of darkness or the force of God. You know, trust God. Take every process as a learning curve for you to become exactly what you are destined to become. If you know that this is what I was destined to do, go at it. Even though someone comes to tell you that this thing you are doing is because you believe it, stay at it. Will challenges come? Of course, those challenges are meant to push you to the next level. You know, so all the challenges and all the things I've gone through is what has shaped me into becoming the person that I am becoming now, because it is a continuous learning process. You see, so trust the process. When the challenge comes, take it. Let it not be a yardstick for you to say to give up and want to, venture into something else. I was talking with my pastor friend here, Pastor Jerry, when we were coming, that there are some gospel ministers that we started then with 2010, 2008. They were the rave, this Afrobeat that we are seeing now. They started it then. If they stayed now, because I was giving him an insight into the gospel music industry and how much benefit it comes with, how much resources is inside of it. I was giving him a proper breakdown, from the streams, 360 royalties and all, what comes from mechanical to licensing to syncing and all those things, what comes. And he was telling me that these people would have waited. By now, they would have been the rave. So you see that at a point came in their life that they were discouraged, and they thought that let me move into this other line of music. It's going to pay me more. So some of them went into it for the money, and then up till now their voices are not heard. So once the challenge comes or people challenge you, still stay true to what you believe, and everything will be fine.
You will agree with me that some of your mate, maybe university mates,
Yeah.
today are not as successful as you are financially.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, would you say a high income skill pays more than a university degree?
Yes. I say that without even I tell every university student, like my last born who just got admission to Abuja, the University of Abuja, that she's already there. We made sure she had handwork before she left. She became a fashion designer before she left. She learnt makeup, professional makeup, before she left. When she came back this not too long ago, she was telling us how she wants to go into, selling of, clothes and fashion things that is missing in the school. The truth is, if you are in the university and you don't have the mindset of an entrepreneur, you will come out looking for a 9-to-5, and the government, given the way it is right now, you may not avail that much opportunity, except maybe you have a link or connection somewhere. Then you need to have handwork, have something that you are passionate about, that if they wake you up and say you don't have job, okay, I have 5 million naira, what do you have, what can you do with it? You will not say you don't know. You can just off the back of your head say, oh, I can do this with this money. And that thing that you are saying you can do is something that you love doing, with or without the money you can do it. Exactly. So the having a handwork, a skill, the degree, university degree is excellent, but don't tilt towards that direction. Have something that you can hold, that if that certificate does not bring a job, you can easily bounce to it and employ other people that are even graduates and pay them. So if you compare how much money I make, which establishment will pay me that kind of money?
No,
except in the oil industry.
For me, I've come to that conclusion that we have gone past the era where university degree right now can put people, right, in the average lifestyle in the society, within the shortest possible time. A university degree cannot guarantee you that right now. No. It's a high income skill that can do that. So on a very final note, what one advice do you have for an upcoming music producer, a young boy down there in the street who has the talent to mix beats here and there together, and he wants to build a career in this industry? What is that one advice? One advice in 10 seconds that you have.
Study the market. First, have passion. Study the market. Know what line of the production field you fit in, because they are different. There are people that they are genuinely called to just produce gospel music. If you even hear their sound, there is the live recording side of it. Then there is the normal inbox studio side of things. Where do you have more passion in? Focus there. Build a robust lifestyle from that particular thing you love, and just stay consistent in it. If you stay for 5 years, it doesn't matter what anybody say. If you stay consistent in it for 5 years, I guarantee that you catch a break, you hit a break, because that 5 years and consistency with the intensity and passion you are pursuing it with is going to make someone notice you somewhere, even in this Kaduna. Yes.
Because you're on the Moneytical show, I want to ask you this very, very important question.
Yes.
Can I become a multimillionaire from music production?
Yes, you can.
I can become a multimillionaire.
Yes. I remember one of the jobs I did. Okay, I'm not going to say the figure because, but it was.
It's in multiples of millions.
Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Right here in Kaduna.
Yes.
All right. So, in rounding up, we would like to discuss about your ministry and your music production career, whatever you're doing. Do you offer like training or mentorship? And I don't know, for our audience who would like to connect with you, maybe they want to, for those who wants to know about your ministry, and there are those who wants to know about your music production career. Where can they locate your studio? What is the name? What is the handle on social media? Or if it is that of your, also for that of your ministry, how can they locate your ministry, your church or something?
Okay, so Yes, I do. I offer mentorship program, although because it is more exclusive, I don't usually take much people. But I'm thinking of like hosting a seminar where we'll all meet and brainstorm and share industry secrets and all. But if you want one-on-one mentorship, of course I'm open to it. If you want to learn how to be a producer, learn sound design and the music business, the integrate part of music business, of course you can reach out to me. I own a record label as well as a PR company. My record label is Jesse Beat Music Inc.
Jesse Beat Music.
Yes, Jesse.
How do you spell
Beats,
it, Jesse?
Jesse, to get JSSE, then BEATZ, no space.
Okay.
Then music, then incorporation INC. Then my PR company is Jesse PR Company.
Okay.
Yes.
Where can they find you?
Yes, you can find me at number 3 Lawal Jafaru Isa, Narai High Coast, towards that GRA side. You can find me there. You can also reach out to me across all social media platforms.
On social media, the handle, can you give us a handle?
Yes,
on social
yes.
media? And what social media?
Yes, on social media. On Instagram is Jesse, JSSE _ BEATZ.
Okay.
That is it. It is also on Twitter.
Okay.
Then for my PR company is Jesse PR Company, all together, no space. On my Facebook, you will see Jesse Beats Obiechina.
Okay, the beat is BEATZ. Okay, BEATZ.
TZ,
Beats.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, Obiechina. And for ministry, like one of the things that I love about this journey in music is because it also prepared me for ministry, especially in the music side of it. Yeah. Excellent choir, excellent sound, and excellent equipment and everything that the Lord has helped us secure. So yes, it is also a way to also train people. So if you want to learn how to sing, you want to learn how to play instrument, the church is one of the places that
yeah, a lot of talent
you can learn for free.
Were built in the church for free.
Will not charge you anything. Just come and be of this service to God while learning and and everything and building up your faith. So the name of my church is CREM. That is Christ Resurrection Evangelical Ministry. That is CREM for short. My church is at Narai. CREM, yes. Okay. My church is at Narai, before the bus stop. Yes, okay. Before the bus stop, there is a very big signboard. It's very obvious that they can see. And then my Facebook handle is Apostle Jesse Obiechina. Okay. So you can just reach out to me.
Apostle Jesse JESSE.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Apostle Jesse.
Thank you, sir.
Guys, this is Obi Crypto, and you're watching Moneytical School of Money Podcast. Yes. Thank you very much for sticking with us here on this episode. If you know you haven't subscribed, this is time for you to do that, guys. Like you already know, the journey right here on the Moneytical Podcast is us bringing people who have succeeded in achieving financial success in any fields or endeavors that they found themselves. We'll bring them to you guys so they can tell us how they did it, so you too can do it for yourself. From my own side, I want to say thank you very much, guys. Share the video, drop us a comment, let us know what you think about music industry or the entertainment industry in the whole of northern Nigeria. I'll see you guys in the next video. Obi Crypto over and out.
Moneytical Podcast, we know they joke. If you want to learn, they make it take your note. Crypto, forex, hustle, we they coach. Stack that bread, make your money approach. No, darling, no delay. Financial keys, we go show you the way. Business talk, we they elevate. Stay tuned, all you gon' appreciate. Moneytical Podcast, oh yeah, tune in now. If you want go, no go tell yourself. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Moneytical Podcast, we they show the way. Big money moves, no time for play.
See knowledge when you get now your biggest flex. Listen to the talk, no the second guess. Investment with sure they break you down. If you want level up, make you gather round.
It be like magic, money multiplication. No be luck, no the right information. Success formula out, we done crack the code. Moneytical the guide, make your pick for Moneytical Podcast. Oh yeah, tune in now. If you all go, don't go do yourself. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Moneytical Podcast, really show the way. Big money moves, no time for play. Hustle, go play, no but all yourself. No musical podcast, with it top down money's out. Not the only way, yeah.